Adenomyosis. Do you suspect such a condition for yourself? What about endometriosis? Do you have both? Well, I, for myself, do not know if I have endometriosis, but a few months ago, I was diagnosed with a moderate amount of adenomyosis. Even a moderate amount can cause excruciating pains at times, and for the most part, I feel that I am controlling the situation as best as I can. But if you clicked on this video to know what my symptoms are in order to help you maybe figure out what it is that you might have, stick around and I will go over my list. So a few months ago, I was bleeding. I thought I started my period, but it felt different and I ended up bleeding for about 3 weeks. And it was not a crazy amount, but it was light but consistent and long for 3 weeks, and I had cramps, I had pains. It just felt different. As far as bloating, I'm pretty much always bloated. I might wake up feeling somewhat normal, but it doesn't take long. As soon as I eat, drink something, I bloat. I look at times a little pregnant, but I guess that goes hand in hand with endometriosis and adenomyosis because it is basically a bulky uterus, which makes a lot of sense because the inflammation just causes it to swell and make your belly feel kind of heavy. Leading up to that moment, I do have to say that I also had a lot of cramping, but I also had a lot of rectal pain, and I had been mentioning it to my naturopath because it was becoming more frequent to the point that I could be doing dishes and all of a sudden I would get this jolt, like a lightning bolt of pain up my bum, and it would hurt. Let me tell you, it would take my breath away. It felt very much like a contraction if you've had babies. But with a contraction, it comes and goes, and this sometimes could last a few minutes or it could last a lot longer. If you are constipated, it can make such a situation much more painful because you could be on the toilet trying to go to the washroom, but if you have a swollen uterus and then you have compacted bowels, or you're just not able to get your bowels moving, that together, oh boy, it can create a lot of pain. I got smarter and better at figuring out my diet in order to avoid constipation, and I can chat about that towards the end, but basically keep your bowels moving if you're not feeling well down there, and it can help the situation a lot. And at times it could feel like it's fissures or hemorrhoids, and it can be as well, but it just feels different. Burning almost sometimes, and it can last, a few minutes, or it can be ongoing. For instance, I could go for a bike ride and feeling pretty normal, but then all of a sudden just felt like even my vagina was like burning. I'm sorry if this is too much information, but I need to tell you what I was going through in order to see if that is something that you can relate to. And it would stay for a little bit, but then it would pass. A nice warm bath with Epsom salts would relieve a discomfort like that. But again, it would never stay. It would go, it would not continue. Cramps, like just almost feeling like your ovaries are pulsing. That was something I've experienced a lot. Does it take my breath away? No, not that, but it is like you think about it because you can feel it happening. During a period, I can't say that I bleed a lot. I do have like large blood clots, but I don't lose a large amount of blood, which is interesting because sometimes with endometriosis you can bleed a lot, but I feel like my periods are actually not that heavy. They are more painful than they are heavy. I'm currently not on any birth control in order to help my hormones for adenomyosis. I just, if I can avoid taking extra things in order to feel better. In my eyes, it's better. I did try progesterone last month or so to see if it would regulate my hormones. I think it's improved them a little bit, which can also make your adenomyosis feel better, but I don't think it was enough for me to continue. I have to say that it actually gave me more pain leading up to my period, and it also delayed my period. It was more time in between each cycle. So going back to the pains, lots of belly discomfort. Sometimes actually the belly pains can shoot down your hips and even your legs. I didn't make the connection back then when I did have a cyst. My legs were like like they were always so achy and sore. Was that due to the inflammation radiating down my legs? I'm not sure, but since I believe the cyst has completely resolved itself, unless I have another one, my legs are much better. And the same feeling I would have, or a similar feeling in my breast, like just having crazy swollen breast pain. If you've ever breastfed a baby, that feeling you have when you're full and you need to feed your child to feel better. So it's like that, but you just don't have the relief. It just feels heavy, full, tight, but only like maybe a warm bath or a heat pad can help. And it's funny because when I did go for my first ultrasound, I told the technician, because they were also checking my breast because I had so much pain, I said to her that I put heat on my breast to make it feel better. And she's like, oh, no, don't do that. But honestly, like cold, I don't know if cold would have felt the same way, but I did find some relief with the heat. But oh my goodness, like I can't even explain the pain. But so after the cyst, I believe, resolved itself, I felt better. My chest wasn't so crazy hurting. But then I feel like just this cycle, it's come back. Not as bad, but like I recognized that the pain was there again. So between rectal pain and breast pain and leg pain, belly pain, does it affect your head? Well, depending on how you deal with your adenomyosis and stress levels, then obviously, and your hormones, because you know, it's an increase, I believe it's an increased estrogen level that, I don't want to say promote, but encourages your endometriosis and even your adenomyosis to feel worse. So if your estrogen levels are high and you're not feeling great, perhaps the stress of it could cause a headache or a migraine. So it's about keeping yourself happy and relieving your stress as best as you can. So what are the things that I have done in order to help myself feel better? Well, definitely diet is always one of the first things that I will change or pay attention to in order to relieve some of my symptoms. The main one probably for me is 100% gluten-free. I do not cheat on the gluten part. It makes me feel like death, so I don't even touch it or try to touch it. No alcohol. I do drink coffee, and I realize I would feel better if I eliminated it, but I have some in moderation. And a very plant-focused diet is very helpful. Combining cooked and raw vegetable is better. Too much raw vegetables is really hard on your digestion, and it can affect endometriosis and or adenomyosis from my experience. Animal products never make me feel better or good, so definitely if you are having either constipation issues, digestion problems, try going meat-free, no animal products, and you'll see you should feel a big difference. Dairy can increase inflammation and just make you feel worse. So if you can remove it to see how you feel, it is always something to try. No sugar. Refined sugar is also a big culprit in aggravating a lot of symptoms. So if you can eliminate it or greatly reduce it, it could be very helpful. When we talk about supplements, there are a few that I've tried that make me feel very sick, but a few of them that make me feel better are always checking your vitamin D levels throughout the year, not just in the winter, but just to maintain a good healthy level. And magnesium has been a lifesaver. You need to consult your trusted healthcare professional in order for them to guide you with what amount is best for you. But I know for myself, I push my tolerance and I don't take a small dose, I take higher doses. And then a good way to know if you've reached your tolerance is if you have diarrhea the next morning. So if you do, then reduce your amount until you have a good normal-ish bowel movement, and then you kind of know that it's right for you. Magnesium is also good at calming your body. So if you take it at night, right before bed, it's also very calming in order to promote a better sleep. And it's been fantastic. I could not recommend it more. There's also other supplements, like simple ones that I do take, but again, everyone is so different and you need to try and take what is best for you. So consult somebody to help you. I am not a medical professional. A few months ago, before my cyst was discovered, I was taking PEA, and you gotta do your own research for that one. But at the time, because I was feeling so much discomfort and pain, it was very good for me. And your body produces a natural amount of PEA, but taking extra can kind of be very calming, and it was very helpful then, but I have not taken it since then because I kind of feel better. And exercise is a big one. Just always move. Even if you're not feeling good, try to just even walking around your house, moving, doing moderate to very mild exercise. Yoga can be good, even stretching. On a day that you don't feel good, if you stretch your hips, your legs, your abdomen, your back, your arms, everything can just encourage your body to feel better. I think I'm gonna wrap this up for today because I'm getting ready for the Thanksgiving long weekend and I have a lot to do today, but this was just a somewhat short video to give you an idea of some of the symptoms I have experienced with adenomyosis, and as soon as I do see a specialist for endometriosis, I will give you an update. But if you're watching this video and you do know that you have adenomyosis, perhaps you could share in the comments what are your top 3 symptoms, and it could be helpful for others watching this video. So I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.
I'll go through my short list, my long list. But if hormonal imbalances. All right.